because you don't have any sediment if you don't have dead ends. So that one's already in place. So we got the $350,000 grant, we got the $1 million+ grant. So we're moving in between everything else. It would be great if the city had a grant writer. We don't, so I used project manager who the city was using already before I came in. And we go after, but community development block grants, you can only apply for them every 2 years. And it had been a little under 4 years since the previous one. So when we went with this one and tied it with the engineering firm, you know, we got it pretty quickly. And they encouraged me, make sure you come back for the other one before you wait too long. So yeah, a big part of the plan had to do with getting some people in here to take that huge financial burden, because, and I'll tell you, there was so much money going out. When we pulled the stuff in-house to do our water sewer repairs, the guy in Waller retired. He retired, you know, because it just cut off they were just, you know, bilking the city for quite a bit of money. But now we don't have some of that. But again, it's been roughly a little over 20 months that I've had an opportunity to be addressing it. And, you know, we've gotten a few things done. We need a lot more. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I need to know in plain, everyday English language, what the proposed project is specifically gonna do to help alleviate Ms. Helen's current problem that she has. I'm understanding that this problem that she has still exists.
And
I believe it has something to do with the project that you're proposing,
Right.
that we have. So tell me how the project is gonna fix our
Right.
problem.
Well, as notice Ms. Boyer says, as it rains.
Right.
When that rain, I&I infiltration goes in, it throws things off. When you fix all those holes that are in those old clay pipes, then you're gonna have less of that, and or it's gonna be easier for us to go in and say, we know it's not, say, the pipes, it's gotta be this, but it's also something that only occurs when it rains. Like say when the lift station, which is very near her house, when that rises up, what is the effect on her home? Is it the pipes? Have those pipes been fixed? But that's the main thing, because she's not alone. See, now when we have a lot of rain, there are a couple of people whose houses I went to check on them, and the sewage had backed up in the house
And let me just add to that. So that's
in that area.
fixing one of the problems. You know, another problem is still the capacity at the lift station. Like we mentioned before, all the other lift stations pump to Dooley. So in a rain event, you have to imagine you're getting all the I&I that the mayor's talking about that's in Alta Vista, that's trying to get over to Dooley's lift station to get discharged to the wastewater treatment plant, but you also have all these other lift stations that are pumping into Dooley. So once that water level gets up, Alta Vista is gravity fed into Dooley. So you have a high water level inside a wet well, it pushes, it's gonna back up. It has nowhere to go unless those pumps keep up. So something else that's on here is, if you notice, it says to rehabilitate lift stations to reduce inflow and infiltration. So Dooley Road has a slot for an extra lift pump, which I met with the mayor on as well. So we're looking at putting a third lift pump at Dooley Road to move more of that inflow that's coming into Dooley Road lift station to push it out faster. So that way the I&I, well, it won't have any more I&I once they fix Alta Vista, but the current I&I that's going into the lift station, it will be able to be pushed out a lot faster.
And help me recall, because it's been so much over these last 14, 15 months or so, the work that was previously done at the Alta Vista lift station. What was done there besides the telecommunications portion? Did it not have one, or it had two?
No, it had two lift pumps.
Did we have to upgrade them?
One, I'll let Brian touch on it because he was out there.
No, we didn't have to upgrade it. We had a bad starter on one of them, so with your communications being down, there was no way for anybody to know projects getting here that y'all had this many problems. Truth be told, he said in plain English, if you speak in terms of battle, y'all had no primary defense and y'all had no secondary defense. Point blank. You had, first off, the verbatims did not work. And secondly.
The alert systems.
Yeah, they didn't work. And then to make matters worse, the phone lines didn't work. So y'all paying for something that didn't work. So again, out of 8 lift stations, but we have 1 that worked.
But to answer your question, so the starter at Dooley Road Lift Station wasn't working properly, so therefore you had 1 lift pump and 1 that was working intermittently.
Okay, so basically, the 2 that we had, one of them wasn't working regularly. It's like the starter on your car. If it doesn't turn over, you know, you got a car, but the car's not starting, so you can't go anywhere. So that has been upgraded, and now we're taking a look at doing the 3rd so that where all of our sewage goes through at the Dooley Lift Station will be at maximum capacity with a 3rd lift station. So that's where it all comes together. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, quick question, please. I'm just looking under project activity, and then I'm looking over under description of proposed project 2. I don't know if I heard you say that you all were gonna put in another lift station, did you say that?
No, ma'am, a lift pump.
A lift pump?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I was looking to see where was that listed in either one of those sections.
Right here,
So it's the pump, it's not the lift station.
Oh, that's not a part of this.
Oh, okay,
This
that's a
is
whole
the
nother.
repair of all those lines.
I see.
Because what those lines do, remember we mentioned there are holes in the ground?
Mhm.
What happens is, like, let's say the pipe is down here, and there's a hole in the pipe. Little by little, especially with the rain, that dirt goes into the hole, into the sewage treatment plant. And it's running all the way through the lift station, and especially when it rains. Typically, we do 150 to 200,000 gallons of sewer from the city is treated at the university every day. Now, the former Mr. Alexander, the former public works supervisor, as well as former Mayor Jackson, shared that when it rains, that number goes up to as much as 700,000 gallons a day. Now, that rainwater, and when you look at the kind of water we've been taking on, it's just gotten worse. But if you have enough holes, when you look at that water going through, there's a meter at the university. And everything that goes through that meter is ticked off and charged to the city. So if you go from 150 to 200,000 a day to as much as 700,000, the city, and that's something I've been working with Dr. Bradford, we have a few meetings on, and they're working on getting some numbers. Because my position is just basic. We've been paying you for God knows how many years to treat rainwater. We need some credit for you, our partner, the university, to work with us on this stuff. So what they've agreed to do, and they're taking their time, and I'm, you know, it's their time. But they are checking on getting dry days to be able to compare them to a mean average of wet days so that they can see what we should have been paying for normal usage, and then it can be assumed statistically that the rest is rainwater. And I want to know how far back you want to go and how much credit you want to give us as we work to get through this thing. So that's where that part is, because right now we owe the university somewhere in the range of $470,000, and that's just with the wastewater treatment plant. About 75 is from before, 400 is current, but the current has only escalated since the university, as a direct, I understand, situation from the A&M system. They did an audit, and the university, as many of you know, started outsourcing a lot of their services. So, CCS,
SSC.
CCC,
SSC.
SSC. they are the administrator overseeing the outsourcing. Then they hired Severn Trent to handle the wastewater treatment plant, okay? Well, the A&M system looked up and said, hey, those costs need to be passed on to what essentially is their only client, the city of Prairie View.
Ooh.
Well, we've done a public information request, and the Texas A&M system, nor the university, has been able to provide some sort of contract or agreement as to what this relationship is. And as I told the people I'm dealing with, none of us was here when this was done. So we need to take a look and see 20, 30, whatever years ago, what this could or should have been. And let's talk about that, because I can't believe a relationship was entered into that would inure to hurt the city the way this thing shifted. And that's why it's being objected to. Yes, ma'am.
Two little points real quickly. Number one, I would encourage everybody sitting here to do some investigation, research, and get to know who owns SSC. Just do that. I'm not gonna say anything else about it. Number two, and then I have a question. Most of the people in Prairie View, Alta or whatever, those things that clog the pipes before, the sanitary napkins, the condoms and stuff, most of us don't use none of that. So, just for the record, most people don't do that. And number three, and this is my real question, what happens is there a time limit that they're giving us to open this checking account to begin to draw down funds? Is there a time limit that they're giving us to do that? Is there a possibility that in case members or whoever doesn't agree with it, members of the council or whoever doesn't agree with it, is there a plan B for drawing down the funds? Can the city go ahead and expend the funds and be reimbursed eventually by the grant? What is the game plan for that? Because and I'm saying that because I'm beginning to see some ugly things going on politically that are not in the best interest of the people of the city. And I believe if you're gonna be a politician, your primary interest should be serving the people what's best for us and putting aside political agendas. So I'm saying, do you have a plan B, plan C, or for the funding part of the project?
Well, I'll start from the beginning. As I said earlier, I just felt in my position, it was my job, as I had shared with my predecessor, that we needed to go after some new money. Because I sat in this room 4 or 5 years ago, and I was the only one in the budget meeting who was not elected or employed. And there was a lot of discussion, and of course there's a lot of things and issues in the city that need to be addressed. But my position was, no one was talking about any new money. Talking about robbing Peter to pay Paul, and Peter's broke. That doesn't work. So going out and getting some money, that was the hardest step to me. Now that it's here, I'm looking to the council to do what they're supposed to do and pass a resolution, open a bank account. But that's on the council. And a part of that is, like, while we're here this evening, if there's some additional information, because I was out trying to get us a smart city grant with Dr. Agajobi and his team, so I couldn't be here at last Monday's city council meeting. But what other information does council say they need? That's what I need to know. Because as I read the authority to use grant funds, it states the essence of everything from the Texas Department of Agriculture, so I'm not sure what needs to be questioned from the state or the feds, but that's a council issue. Counselor, can you answer legally, because I can't, Dr. Brown's question about what are the options, or maybe what else, in your opinion, council felt that they needed at the council meeting that regarding this, since this is why we're here this evening, we can talk about it.
Well, I can't answer any legal question to a citizen, because that inures to the benefit of.
Okay, you can answer me. I'm asking.
Well, I can't answer that in a public forum, because that would waive any attorney-client privilege, which I don't want, which I can't do.
Excuse me a minute, I'm not asking you for a specific plan, I'm asking you, is there a backup plan, a plan B or plan C, in case this, funding, being able to draw down money into this account is some kind of way impeded?
Well, let me ask you this, because I wanna work with his ethical and not waiving privilege type thing. But we've got a couple of council members here. So why don't you ask that to a council member, because they were here, I don't know how they voted, because I wasn't here, I just know it didn't pass. But I think it's more appropriate
Well,
to ask,
that would be a good idea, but I was here.
okay?
And the ones that are here said they didn't know enough about it
Okay.
in order to address it. So obviously, I can't expect to get a coherent answer from them
Well,
because they said they didn't know.
well, I tend to disagree with you, because we can find out, Councilman Rowland. What else do you need to know, additional information?
Good evening, citizens. I am Brian Rowland, I'm on City Council, and I was at the meeting when this came on the agenda. At the time when council did not disapprove of the item, council referred it until our next meeting because we needed more information. The only thing we received in our packet was this sheet that was different than what it actually said on the agenda. The mayor has sit here and it had an explanation and communicated to the community his intent and what he wanted to do. That had not been done prior to us getting this in our packet. Now, the mayor did communicate with us about this. He mentioned the grant before because EJ&A had came in here, and before they even submitted the proposal, we had some prior information. Once we got the grant information, we as council who are responsible for the monies in this city, policy money, we wanted to know, just having a sheet and having a number that says $350,000 is not enough information for us to be able to make a conscious, ethical decision for our community. And again, I don't think that it is not gonna pass. I just think that we needed more information. And if the mayor continues to communicate like he's doing tonight, I don't think that we'll have a problem.
Okay, now, let me be clear.
May
so that-
I say?
No, hold on just a second, Ms. Webster. Because I need to make sure I provide counsel, which is my duty. My duty is to keep council informed, and I thought I've been doing that. But,
Excuse me, Mr.
hold on,
Brown.
no, Ms.
He
Brown.
was
Ms.
answering my
Brown,
question.
Ms. Brown,
He was answering my
I'm
question.
answering him now, okay? Councilman Rowland,
Yes, sir.
from, as you say, we brought the engineering firm who gave us all the scope and the particulars of this grant prior to us receiving it in front of council. They provided all the detailed information, and I agree with you, this is a summation, but they gave the details of the grant proposal. Council approved of them going after it. We received it. Council received all the basic information I got from them. Please, as succinctly as you can, let me know what else you need so we can get it to you.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir?
Oh, no, like I said, the documents we received and what was on the agenda are two different things. The agenda item was about authorizing signatures.
It was a resolution
A
too.
resolution to authorize signatures
Resolution
to
two.
spend down this grant. We needed updated information. If you say we're gonna apply for something, and then you say, well, we got it. Where is the information about what you got and what's the process and what's gonna happen? I think the mayor communicated to some of you what it's gonna do, how it's gonna help, where it's gonna go. All we're saying is council, we wanted that information because again, we approved this, how long ago, Mr. Mayor?
Shortly after you were reelected,
About how long? About 10 months?
something like
So,
that.
so I'm asking for, and we haven't talked about it since then. The mayor hasn't said anything since then. And so all I'm simply saying is there's no problem. I don't think that this is an issue that council will not approve. I think this is one of those things as far as communication. And like we're having this meeting tonight, or the opportunity to be able to get additional information to move forward. The mayor was not here that night, and it was, I think, majority of council said that we needed additional information. Again, to be able to make, to move forward with, so I don't think that council does not approve, does not think the community needs the grant. The community been planning for this grant, so this grant didn't just pop out of nowhere. We've been planning for this for some time. Mayor Allen worked with the Texas Department of Agriculture and was able to get the grant. But the city had been planning for these types of grants for some time. So again, I don't think council is against this. I think council just wanted additional information, just like you're updated tonight. We hadn't been updated or given any additional information except for, we're gonna get this money. One of the issues, even on the draw on the bank of account, because one of it, the resolution just had to do with signatures. We still don't know the process on how does this roll out? So the mayor would have said, hey, this is gonna be the engineering firm should have told him it's gonna be a 60-day, 90-day process. It's gonna happen in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We're just asking for information. Nothing out of the ordinary. And so I think there won't be, I don't think there's a problem specifically, but I can't speak for all council. But I just think, again, this is the first time we're actually digging through this conversation for the first time.
What specific information do you need?
I communicated about the
That
time,
packet he
how
got 10
long,
months ago.
we didn't get a packet 10 months ago.
You
So-
said the mayor explained it to
No,
you.
no, the engineering
The
company
engineering
came.
company, the mayor didn't explain it, that's what I'm saying.
Well, if the engineer explained it to you, what more do you need?
Because we didn't go through a breakdown to actually make a precise decision upon it. So I know last meeting, from the first time, as she stated, we haven't talked about it. So it was just like us refreshing something. So it was like, give us time to at least even go back and to receive more information or to read upon it. Like, in our everyday lives, we don't necessarily
So I
remember
guess
something
my
that happened 10
question
months
is,
ago.
this is my question. From what I understood, and I guess I've dealt with grants a lot, when
Yeah,
the
we
person
understand
that
that.
grants the money, when they say approve your application,
Mhm,
they say the funding is available,
mhm,
but you have to have an account to put it in,
mhm,
period.
mhm.
That's
they
just
also give
automatic.
you an
Just a minute,
award
Val, I
letter.
need for you to not to interrupt me, okay? Thank you.
If you know
They
about grants,
also
you know
give
that.
you, in some cases, a time limit to have the money in a specific account just for that grant. Now, once you get the money in that particular account, then you can have all kind of discussions, go back and review the grant or whatever, but I just think that it was very irresponsible to hold up releasing, having the ability to have the Department of Agriculture put the money in the city's account because you didn't understand the whole grant.
Oh,
Do you
hold
know
on,
upon
hold on,
that
let
date,
me-
what that date was? I know, I'm asking, do you know upon what that date was, the original date for us to even make that decision?
I just asked the mayor, was there a time limit? That was a question I asked him.
Let me help all of you. This grant has been on every other 2 or 3 mayor's reports. So to say you have been informed on it, you might want to go back and check the agenda because it's on the mayor's report. The other thing is, I guess, and I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting the feeling that you're thinking there's some conversations between the engineer and the mayor that you're not privy to, and they're not. Once we went through this process, you all met, the council actually selected the engineering company and project management to handle this grant, not me. I didn't have to vote because there was no tie. The council voted for this. The council had all the information I had. When we did get an award letter, it went out to the council. When we got an authorization after the environmental, a little over a week and a half ago, it was in council's packet this last Monday. So if you want the epitome of open government and transparency, all you have to do is check my mayor's reports. Because if I met with them, if we did something, it's on the mayor's report.
Mr.
Yes, sir, Reverend.
Yes,
So we
I
got
think,
that faster.
I think what's happening here is that, it's a breakdown of communication. And what I mean by this is, the mayor, you done your part, everything was done correct. But I think the word is missing here is what they're probably looking for is probably allocations, meaning exactly more information about that. I mean, you know, everything was discussed, I mean, it's a problem here as far as communication, I see, you know, far as too much tension, personal vendettas, different things that are going on. This is not about personal vendetta, it's not about that, it's about the citizens' peer review. I said a couple of while back, Dr. Brown, and I was saying how, you know, I'm an outsider. I moved here, my wife was going to college here. We plan to want to be a part of peer review here. And my children love you here, I love you here, I like the community, I love the people here. But this bickering back and forth, you know, it shouldn't take a lot to understand that Ms. Boyer, even I've had problems with the property where I'm leasing it right now, because I'm not sure where I really wanted to buy or anything here yet. Just coming and viewing, you know, being here. I think we have something good here, and we need to stop bickering over little bitty small items. It's just as simple as to ask the mayor, okay, mayor, he's a go-getter, you can see the guy, he's trying to get something done. Other people is trying to get things done. Everybody wants something done, but I think the word that's missing here is allocations. You know, I don't think the city council, the councilmen, or they want to stop what's going on. I think if we just say, okay, let's use this, allocation. I just want assurance, because as we know, and as I've heard, I don't know like you guys know, there has been some things in the past that was not done, it was done shaky, okay? Funds were misappropriated, different things took place prior to things, okay? We know that, okay? So I don't think it's that the city council wants to come against what the mayor's doing. I mean, the man is out trying to get grant money, trying to get things done. You guys want things done. I think the tension just needs to calm down. We're all on the same team. We all want to see this community and things go on. I think we'd be more optimistic about what's going on and stop having a spirit of rage and this and that, you know. It's not about that, you know. I cannot like the mayor. I mean, he did something to me I really didn't like. I mean, but he's the mayor. See what I'm saying? But I mean, he had to do his job, you know what I'm saying? But, and I mean, he's my neighbor. I mean, he's not my enemy. I mean, nobody's saying there should be enemies. So I think the word for I can't remember his name.
Councilman Rowland.
Councilman Rowland was talking about the reason why it wasn't going to be approved or they wasn't going to deal with it. Just need a little bit more about a lot of cases. That's what take them. I would do that if I was a city councilman. Even though those things are going on, just give me a little bit more. And the thing is this: the mayor's the mayor. Okay, he's the leader of our community. Okay, come on, that's who he is right now. Okay, mayor, could you just give us this right here? I think beating around the bush is just too much. You know, just be straightforward. And that's all I had to say. And I'm sorry, I don't want to rock anybody.
No, and I think, and you bring up a good point. I just want to say something real briefly. One of the things that was pointed out was that two of the second signers, in addition to myself and the city secretary, were the municipal court judge and the chief. And what we've done, and this is going to come out Monday, but I'll just say it now, is we've taken the chief and municipal court judge off, and we put the mayor pro tem on. So that, if that was, you know, whatever part of the issue that was, has been corrected. Because I didn't see that because of the trip prior to. Someone had a question. Yes, ma'am.
This is gonna sound really disrespectful, and I don't intend it to be that way. But I've listened to y'all talk about all the problems about this NDPQ. And if I understand what you've said, we've had experts come in all these years, outsourcing, that are supposed to know what they are doing and know how to fix the problems. Now we have some different experts telling us, oh no, we can fix the problems doing that. What makes you trust these experts as opposed to the ones in the past? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and there's
And I
nothing
don't mean it to
disrespectful
be-
about that. I don't know if you heard me a little while ago, but I was out there with them till after 12 at midnight while we were waiting on the back truck.
Right.
I came here on engineering, so I switched the business for a reason. But when you're reading that it says storm water pump, and I've been in the council meeting when Mr. Perry, who lives right across from the Greenfield station, I mean literally across the street, has said this stuff was going up in his yard for over 20 years. And he came in a city council meeting and said that,
Right.
okay? When these gentlemen shared that storm water is not for storm sewer, it didn't take an engineering degree to understand that part. And knowing the problem had been going on. Now, as you said, I used to sit here and I heard quite a bit about this lift station problem, but they never went to the solution.
Right.
They kept repairing it, and it's the repair bills that caught my attention, and I said, no. What does it take to make this go away? How has Greenfield functioned since?
It set up great. Even after the hurricane, it recovered quickly.
It wasn't a problem during Hurricane Harvey, and before all it took was a little bit of rain,
Right.
sometimes no rain. Yes, sir.
Citizens, I think the mayor just painted a perfect picture of the example of why we at that moment didn't approve this grant on last Monday. We've had it, professionals come in with plans and all these information saying that they had that this was right and this was this and we needed to approve this. And all we're saying is we needed a little more information, we needed to kick the tires a little more. I think what the gentleman in the back just said as far as communication, I think that anything that helps move the city forward, I think every council person is for that. One of the main issues, and hopefully we can get past this, right? So the mayor says he communicates through council on his report. That is not the way you communicate to council. So if we are trying to resolve an issue, the mayor, who is the leader of our community, should say, here's this is the plan, and this is what I want to do. This is the scope, meaning this is how long it's going to take. This is how much it's going to cost. This is what street is going to do. Do y'all have any questions? We say, we look at it, not that meeting, but we get the information and have time to look at it. And then we come back and say, we have no questions, Mr. Mayor, let's move forward. That's how all of the team works, and I think we're getting there. We're not quite there yet. But again, on this particular project, I don't think that there will be any additional issues moving forward. I just think that, again, even from the engineer, when this first came up, E&J Engineering, it was a grant that they went after. The city was the beneficiary, meaning they went to the grant, they were the project manager, it wasn't something that we bid out. They came to us and said that, here's an opportunity, I know someone somewhere, and here's an opportunity for you to get a grant to help do something. And when we approved it,